Okay, if you're new, I'm James. I'm gay and trans. I'm 16 and I make videos about my life. And I wanted to make a video on me, a more in-depth video on me leaving Southeast. I made a video about kind of why I left Southeast, of how I was dealing with mental health issues, and how when I went to ask if they were able to accommodate my mental health needs and they never answered, I made the decision with my family and district to transfer to a new alternative school. So I'm going to make a video right now about the types of mental health issues that I was dealing with that I needed accommodations for, more into the reasons of why I left versus, that kind of just mental health issues, which mental health issues is a very broad term that could be used in many situations. So let's go to 7th grade. So in 7th grade and 8th grade, I was having a lot of home issues and struggling very much academically in school. I was struggling at home and I kind of took it out in school, and school was a lot of support, which school is still my support and stuff. And I had a social worker that I worked with for multiple years, and she kind of knew how to handle me, and overall nothing really happened much in that case. I just had 2 rough years, 7th and 8th grade. Then I went into the high school part of my alternate school. The hallways were sectioned, so when I graduated middle school, I ended up moving up to the high school program in Southeast, the alternative school that I used to go to. And I still had that same social worker. She actually worked with the classroom that I moved up with and the middle school classroom, so I still had the same support that I had in 7th and 8th grade. I just had a new teacher. So I had that new teacher freshman in high school, and she was very strict. She was very nice, but sometimes she did say things that she really did not think about and that hurt. I overall would say she was a great teacher, but looking back, there are things that she should have never said and that I will always remember when I'm an adult. Like, I would sometimes vent to other teachers in the classroom or other students in the classroom and shoot and stuff, and she would just say mean comments. And I remember one time she asked me why I'm doing that, and I said it's I'm depressed. And she was like, I really don't care and stuff and this and that. Like, I understand where she's coming from, but those are comments that I will remember for my rest of my life and stuff. So, basically that. And then after I had a few rough months with that teacher, COVID happened and we all went virtual. Well, my first year of e-learning was when I was a freshman. My school didn't do Zoom calls. My school, for e-learning, each week they mailed us a packet of work, and we completed it at our own pace. And then every Friday, the teacher would Zoom call the students individually, and then we would basically show her like the packet. We would show her like all the completed work, and then we would mail it back to the school. And we did that for a whole year. We did that for the rest of sorry, I'm stuttering. We did that for the rest of the school year. So I did that for the rest of 9th grade. And then sophomore year hit. I had the same teacher I did have in freshman year. Sophomore year, we did the e-learning. Again, it was my second year e-learning. But this year we did, which was I think a lot of schools did. The first year e-learning was all the students were on a Zoom call together with all the teachers, and it was more traditional class. So this was the first year sorry, I'm just gonna shut the window because it's raining and water's gonna come in. I'm so sorry, guys. But it was the first year me interacting with staff and students, because last school year I just interacted with one teacher, and that was once a week to make sure that she did my work, and if I had any questions I could ask her then. But I did not see any other students or anything. So that basically happened, and I was struggling with my mental health. And sophomore year was my first time I ever got hospitalized for my mental health. I was very suicidal, and I ended up getting hospitalized. I was dealing with a lot. I told my family that I got sexually assaulted, so we were dealing with all that business, and I was dealing with school, and I was dealing with all of my other home issues. So I ended up getting sent to the psych hospital for the first time. Then I was out for 4 weeks, and then I went again. And then I was out for 8 months. And then after 8 months, I went again. And then, yeah. So I went 3 times, and I went 3 times sophomore year. And because I was very suicidal and I vented to school, they ended up making me go in person school, which nobody went in-person school. I was the only student in-person school. For my second year of e-learning, they did not want the teachers to work from home. They wanted them to work from school. So all the teachers were doing e-learning from the school building, and then there was me doing e-learning from the school building, but I was in the building, and I pretty much did e-learning there. Met with a psychiatrist at the school and a psychologist at the school and my social worker, and then I went home, and I got that kind of help for a while, and I did that until the end of sophomore year. And then school started to open up. There was no more e-learning, and this school year appeared, junior year. I'm a junior now. And the social worker that I worked with last year, I also worked with her for that social worker that I worked with last year. I worked with her from 4th to 10th grade. So I worked with her a long time. This year she didn't have my class. She did not have my class, and the classes that she all had, I was too young for. So I got a new social worker. This social worker, it was her first year, and yeah, pretty much it was her first year, and she really didn't know much about the school. And yeah, I was really struggling with not having the support I needed because she didn't really know what kind of supports I needed yet because she was so new, and I was struggling with mentally, and I ended up getting sent to the hospital junior year. I ended up going there, and after I got out of the hospital, I ended up going to an outpatient program for 3 months, which is the longest I have ever done outpatient before. I have done it for like a month, a few weeks. I did it for 3 months this time. And over that past 2 months, I have built a relationship with my therapist that was at my outpatient program, and I kept explaining how I was feeling really suicidal at school, and I didn't have the support because they just didn't know how to take care of me or support me. And at the time, my therapist from outpatient wanted to contact my teachers and particularly my social worker from school, and my teachers answered, but they didn't really talk much other than academics, and my social worker never answered. So my therapist did not want me to go back to Southeast without a plan in place at Southeast, just because she wouldn't answer any of our calls and anything. And my dad suggested having an IEP meeting and thinking about other alternative schools, and I agreed. My therapist said, yeah, if Southeast is not working out, then I would agree a new school would be good, and if you decide to go to a new alternative school, I would recommend a therapeutic one, because they make alternative schools specifically for more emotional needs than behavioral needs, and I was in an alternative school for behavioral needs and not emotional needs. So we ended up going to the alternative school option, ended up picking a therapeutic school type of thing, and then we ended up going on a few tours to a few different ones. We ended up picking one, and then I ended up starting there. I was very nervous at first and was grieving the loss of all of the relationships I've had at that other school, but I am doing better now, and I am now currently still at that school. So that school did work on me well enough for me to continue that type of school. I think that it's very interesting. However, but anyways, yeah. So that's kind of what was going on. I mentioned I feel like I mentioned more stuff than I did in another video. I just wanted to give you guys more of an explanation of what the issues were going on. The hospitals really did help me. I got diagnosed with things that I didn't know I had, or I got support with issues that I was struggling with, and I got a whole new school plan through going there. So people think that hospitals are different things. For me, hospitals, there was some traumatizing stuff, and there was some things that I did not want to happen or agree with happening, but overall, I did come up with plans, and for some of these plans, it did take me 3 or 4 whatever hospital admissions, different programs and stuff, but overall I feel like I have a good plan. And overall, if I feel like my plan is not helping me anymore, I feel like I will have the support to go back and get a new plan. And I'm hoping that anyone who is struggling and who wants to get help or needs help, I'm hoping that they will have the resources and supportive family like me. And if you don't have a supportive family, I'm always here to talk. I'm always here to lend a family member or whatever. Bye, guys. You guys are all loved.